Animal reigns around the world, a dragon discovered in the Philippines, angels filmed in the sky in Brazil, and other surprising phenomena await you in this video. Ready to discover them? Then get ready, here are 10 unexplained phenomena that occur in the world. This man in North Dakota in the United States made by chance an unthinkable discovery that does not bode well. By bringing his lit lighter several times closer to the open faucet, he realized that the water was immediately on fire. When this disturbing phenomenon occurs, it is best to avoid running a bath. Indeed, if the water is flammable, it is probably due to a hydrocarbon leak that has polluted the water distribution networks, and more specifically, methane, which is a high-potential fuel. This type of environmental incident is not new to North Dakota, and with good reason. A few years ago, an oil pipeline rupture caused more than 1 million liters of crude oil to flow into the northeastern part of the state. In the Philippines, what looks like dragon carrion was discovered in a village in the south of the country. The video, which shows this fantastic find, lasts 35 seconds and was posted on Facebook in August 2016. As you can imagine, fascinated and gullible internet users have massively shared it. The images are all the more astonishing because the appearance of the creature does not lead to confusion. It is clearly neither a sea animal, nor a primate, nor a feline. The anatomy of this chimeric monster with large wings evokes only one thing: dragons. And we love these legendary reptiles so much that we would like to believe in them with all our heart. But in reality, this captivating discovery does not reveal the existence of these creatures from the imagination of the first men on Earth. The truth, more prosaic, is that it is simply a very successful model of a dragon drawn by a Spanish artist, and destined to appear on a local television show. This artist is called Juan Villaherrero. And one wonders if he was surprised by the resonance of his video, which enchanted the lovers of dragons. In an email addressed to the AFP, he expressly recognized that the dragon was an artistic fabrication, accompanying his confession with different photos that show the stages of its conception. This fake dragon was discovered in Davao del Sur, a province in the Philippines on a continent where the representations of the dragon in Asia are very numerous. You may not know it, but Asian dragons do not look like their Western counterparts. Although both embody omnipotence, Asian dragons are less aggressive, less hostile, and more refined. They symbolize sovereignty and power. On the other hand, in Europe, and particularly in Celtic and Nordic legends, dragons are evil, have large wings, spit fiery flames, and are the guardians of buried treasures that they jealously protect. Do you like this video? Then don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell, so you won't miss anything in our next publications. Let's keep going. A mysterious ray of light was seen one day in the sky of a small American town, Greenwood. The images, which are not faked, are filmed by a cyclist and show a really strange phenomenon. Not far from the sun, a beam of light moving strangely behind a cloud, like a torch fire stirred by the breath of the winds. After the publication of this sequence, some people claim to see the effects of a plane passing by or some kind of play of light. In reality, this beam of light is caused by a rare optical phenomenon, although it has been known since antiquity. This phenomenon is called the parhelion, or the false sun, and is manifested by the appearance of two reflections of the sun, placed horizontally on either side of it. This gives the illusion of a solar triad. This optical phenomenon takes place when ice crystals fill the upper layers of the atmosphere and the sun is on the horizon in a low position. These ice particles, hexagonal in shape, have a prismatic effect when they fall from the clouds. All these crystals then form a network of prisms that reflects and refracts the sun. Strange images were filmed by this CCTV camera. The scene takes place at night in the middle of a road. While crossing the road, a woman almost got run over by a car she did not see coming. The worst was only avoided by the miraculous intervention of a man who, in a split second, springs out of nowhere, grabs the woman, and carries her to the other side of the road, before disappearing. The woman, who remains motionless, is confused but unharmed, while the two stationary drivers get out of their vehicle as if to take the time to realize what has happened. We imagine them at the height of surprise. But what meaning should be given to these images? It is difficult to explain how this heroic rescue could have taken place. The speed of the rescuer is mind-boggling, and raises many questions. At first glance, it is difficult to imagine that such a movement could be real, but it must be said that, to this day, the mystery of these surrealist images has never been elucidated. What do you think about it? Do you believe in ghosts and their inexplicable, invisible, and often frightening manifestations? If so, you will surely see in these images a strong clue to their existence, and if not, you might dig in your head to find an explanation for this phenomenon, because there is none. In India, in an empty playground, a walker accidentally filmed something that is difficult to experience without feeling shivers of terror, without anyone around. A swing moves by itself, with force, from right to left, and back and forth. One could very well believe in the action of the winds if the swing next door was not completely motionless during the whole video, which lasts half a minute. This strange scene quickly went viral on the internet, and many commentators speculated on the cause of these abnormal movements, without ever agreeing. The movements of the swing are filmed in broad daylight. Even paying close attention to the images, no string attached to the board can be seen. We also do not see, as some internet users have supposed, a fishing line fixed to the wood and drawn in secret by means of a reel. This hypothesis may be the most realistic, but it is not, since the person filming these disturbing images, while fleeing, momentarily revealed the entire nearby area, which is indeed deserted. Unless you can think of a trick, this video is really terrifying, and we still don't know the reasons for these mysterious swings. What do you think is the cause? In a Canadian forest, a man has filmed something that seems straight out of a fantasy film. A piece of ground covered with grass rises up several times, giving the impression that the earth is breathing. These bewitching images are not falsified at all. Indeed, the intermittent swelling of the ground and the sagging of the trees are very real phenomenon. But how can the earth give the impression that it breathes? In reality, there are no hidden underground lungs. This phenomenon is due to a series of meteorological causes. Specifically, when the rains are heavy, the soil becomes waterlogged, and tree roots loosen, almost to the point of breaking. Under the gusts of wind, the forest floor and the trees rise, giving the hypnotic illusion that the earth is breathing. Were you aware of this phenomenon? This is not the first time it has happened. Indeed, a similar video was filmed in Nova Scotia, in a Cumberland forest, where a walker was surprised to see the same bewitching phenomenon. These images filmed in Paraguay show in the distance a shapeless creature, black and hairy, whose nature is difficult to determine. But the hypothesis most frequently evoked is that it is a Pombero, a mythical creature typical of South American legends. Described as a deformed and repulsive monster, the Pombero lives in the woods and in abandoned houses. It emits a whistle to announce its appearance and is best known for protecting birds whose sounds it knows how to imitate, especially nocturnal birds. The Pombero lives in rural areas, moves around with absolute discretion, and is not considered an evil and abominable being, but rather a troublemaker, who, for example, releases details, steals eggs, scares away horses, and plunders corn crops. However, contrary to what one might think, such inconveniences are not prevented by hunting this agile and devious little monster, rather, it is by coaxing it. Indeed, the Pombero loves gifts, especially honey, cigars, and rum. Yes, this hairy hoodlum has singular tastes. Moreover, in some Paraguayan provinces, peasants are sure to gain the benevolence and protection of the Pombero by leaving gifts for him every night in special places. A Brazilian cameraman published a video that raised many questions and hypotheses. It shows two winged creatures emerging from the clouds and flying in the sky, one next to the other, for a few seconds. These creatures, equipped with a human body and large white wings, immediately evoke the idea of angels. Moreover, the title of the video mentions that they are two angels flying over the Brazilian azure. Should we believe it? One must admit that the phenomenon is a bit big to really question the authenticity of this double angelic appearance. Angels are supposedly invisible creatures that only manifest themselves in dreams or visions, and have a human and luminous appearance. And moreover, to cut short all speculation, cameraman Yeson Carlos published several months later a video that reveals the technical process by which he digitally constituted the two angels hovering below the clouds. Animal rains are among the rarest and most frightening weather phenomena. Although there are many testimonies about these prodigious events, the fact itself has been observed only belatedly by meteorologists, which explains the lack of serious studies on this subject. And since this phenomenon has long been denied to the public and impresses the imagination, it is only natural that all sorts of interpretations and legends surround it. Testimonies of animal rains date back to antiquity and occur in many countries and at different times throughout history. Most of the time, these stories mention rains of frogs, fish, and birds. In an attempt to explain how frogs end up in thousands scattered on the ground for no obvious reason, the Greek philosopher Theophrastus explains, in the 4th century BC, that frogs do not fall with the rain, but that it makes them emerge from the ground. This hypothesis, at least, is more realistic than those of Reginald Scotus, who states in the 16th century that frogs apparently falling from the sky are spontaneously generated and that they are born from rain. But the most ingenious supposition is the one given in the 19th century. According to it, amphibian eggs rise to the sky thanks to the evaporation of water, before hatching in the clouds and falling as frog gorillas. No, more seriously, these amusing conjectures have been superseded by more plausible scientific hypotheses. Indeed, we now know that all frog and fish rains occur because of waterspouts, that is, tornadoes occurring at sea. For bird rains, the causes are more complex and less easy to determine. Indeed, bird falls can be explained either by tornadoes, a massive poisoning, or air collisions within the group, caused by panic movements. In other, more specific cases, it may seem that animals fall from the sky when in reality they are only moving, for example, spiders. Indeed, some species of spiders create a network of webs that look like parachutes, thanks to which they travel enormous distances. When large colonies make this migration, it can look like rain. That's the end of this video. What do you think of all these strange phenomena? Which one intrigued you the most? Tell us what you think as a comment.